Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right. We're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go! I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
Rain fell lightly on the window pane just outside Levi and Ivy's living room. A passing storm had forced them to play inside that afternoon. Their mom told them that if they played together using their imaginations, then they could use their iPads or watch TV for a little bit. I just don't want them to be on screens all day, said Levi and Ivy's mom to their dad. They both have such great imaginations. When they put their mind to creating something, it's always amazing. But lately, all they want to do is play video games or watch TV. I understand, said Levi and Ivy's dad. Well, they seem to be playing together well right now. That's just because I said if they did, they could watch TV or play on their iPads for a bit, since it's raining outside, said their mom with a sigh. But I'm trying to stay positive. Maybe they won't even ask for a screen today. Maybe they'll create some new games and be happy playing together all day. I wouldn't bet on it, but I'm sure they're enjoying playing together right now, said Levi and Ivy's dad with a smirk as he walked out of the room. Meanwhile, Levi and Ivy were playing a game together that they both enjoyed very much. Unfortunately, it was a game that was much better played outside. Soccer. Their mom had told them many, many times not to play soccer in the house, and for good reason. She didn't want anything to get broken. Levi, if I make this goal, then you have to let me pick the TV show we watch after we're done playing, said Ivy as she dribbled a foam soccer ball back and forth in front of Levi. And if I block it, then I get to pick the show, said Levi confidently as he stood in front of the soccer goal they created next to the couch, which also happened to be right next to a small side table on which sat Levi and Ivy's mom's favorite vase. It was a gift that their dad had given to her for their last wedding anniversary, and she really loved it. Ivy moved closer to Levi, dribbling the foam soccer ball cautiously. Levi waited patiently for her next move, ready to block her kick and decide which show they would watch. Then in a split second, Ivy made contact with the ball, sending it flying through the air right towards her mom's favorite. What do you think that ball was going right towards, friends? That's right, her mom's favorite vase. However, she didn't notice where it was headed at the moment. She only saw herself making the goal and watching her favorite TV show. Levi couldn't let that happen, so as soon as Ivy kicked the ball, he dove towards it. Also not seeing his mom's favorite vase sitting in his path, but that would soon change, because once Ivy could sit back and admire her shot on goal, she saw the vase. Levi, no! Called out Ivy. Thinking she was just trying to throw him off his game and make him miss the ball, Levi paid no attention to her. He committed 100% to his dive, which unfortunately led him right into the side table and his mom's favorite vase. At that moment, everything seemed to move in slow motion as Levi realized what was happening and started to reach wildly for the vase, trying to catch it before it hit the ground. Ivy did the same thing, but they were both just a moment too late. The vase hit the ground, breaking into 4 pieces. Levi and Ivy just stood there staring at each other, waiting for their parents to come in and see what the noise was. The foam soccer ball rolled out of view and wedged itself under one of the chairs in the living room. We can't tell them we were playing soccer in the house, whispered Levi. We'll get in trouble. I know, agreed Ivy. Maybe we can bend the truth a little bit. Okay, let's do it, whispered Levi, trying to think fast. They each knew the decision they were making was the wrong one, but everything was happening so quickly they just went with it. Hey friends, do you ever find yourself making the wrong decision? I know I definitely have. Let's see what Levi and Ivy do next. What was that noise? Asked their mom as she ran into the room and suddenly froze. My vase! Oh, what happened to my vase? Their dad was right behind her and looked just as surprised. Levi, Ivy, what happened here? Asked their dad. Not wanting to get in trouble for playing soccer in the house, Levi and Ivy stuck to their plan, and Levi quickly said, It was a total accident. We're so sorry. You see, Ivy and I were playing Space Explorers, and she was walking across the couch like it was a new planet we had just discovered. Yep, and I was bouncing along, and I sneezed. I lost my balance and tumbled to the side table, Ivy continued. And your vase fell on the floor, Mom. We're really sorry. Yeah, Mom, really, really sorry, added Levi. While it was true Levi and Ivy were really trying, lying only makes things worse. But at that moment, they valued their TV time and iPads a little more than keeping their parents' trust. As they stood there, they thought maybe their little lie had worked. But sooner or later, the truth always comes out. However, sooner happened quicker than they expected. "Well, I'm just glad you guys are both okay," said Levi and Ivy's mom with a sigh as she picked up the pieces of the vase. "I think I may be able to fix this." "I just have one question," said their dad, sounding a bit like a detective. "If Ivy's sneeze caused her to fall off the couch, then why didn't I hear it?" Levi and Ivy's eyes got wide. They knew at that moment they should have not lied to their parents. The feeling made their tummies feel icky, and all they wanted to do was tell the truth. Their dad continued his questioning as they just stood there. "I mean, I was right out in the hallway. I think I would have heard Ivy sneeze," he said, looking around the room. "And yet I don't remember hearing a thing before the vase fell." As he waited for a response from Levi and Ivy, he walked toward the chair that the foam soccer ball was sitting under. "In fact, I'm a little disappointed, and I think that maybe you're both not telling us the truth," their dad went on. "Is that true, kids?" asked Levi and Ivy's mom. And as she said that, Levi and Ivy spun around to see their dad holding the foam soccer ball that he had just picked up from under the chair. Their hearts were beating fast, their faces were bright red, and they felt terrible with the decision they made. It didn't take long for both of them to admit what they had done and finally tell the truth. "We're sorry, Mom and Dad," Levi began. "We were playing soccer in the house, even though you told us not to. I was trying to score a goal. When Levi went to block it, he bumped into the side table and your vase fell to the ground," continued Ivy. "And we lied about it so we wouldn't get in trouble, but we know we shouldn't have done that," said Levi, his eyes starting to fill with tears. "We're so sorry for not telling the truth, Mom and Dad," Ivy said before putting her face in her hands. Levi and Ivy's mom took a minute to understand what was going on. Her kids have never lied to her before. "Thank you for telling us the truth finally, but I'm surprised you didn't tell us from the beginning," said their mom, sounding disappointed. "Accidents happen, but when you lie about them, you make it so much worse. I need to talk to your dad. Just wait here." Levi and Ivy's parents walked out of the room holding the pieces of the broken vase and went to talk in the kitchen. They came back a few minutes later. Levi and Ivy sat silently on the couch waiting to hear what they were going to say. "We've decided since you lied to us, we will be taking away your iPad and TV privileges for a week," said their mom. Levi and Ivy's jaws dropped. They knew there were always consequences for making the wrong decision, but at that moment, they couldn't imagine a whole week with no screens. "We hope you learn your lesson and never lie to us again," said Levi and Ivy's dad, sitting down with his kids on the couch. "We love you both very much and need you to know that lying is never the right choice. It makes it hard for your mom and I to trust you, and we don't like that feeling. Next time you make a mistake, tell the truth and try to make the situation better, okay?" "Okay, Dad," said Levi and Ivy together. "Now go play outside. It looks like the rain has stopped," said their mom, giving Levi and Ivy a hug. "We hope this is the last time we have to talk to either of you about lying." Levi and Ivy hugged their mom and dad, still feeling bad for what they had done. They walked outside and tried to figure out what they could possibly do for a whole week with no iPads or TV. Then, as they were rummaging through piles of old sports equipment, kites, and old toys in the garage, they saw the giant refrigerator box that their parents had thrown away in there after they remodeled the kitchen last month. "Wow, I never realized how big that box was until right now," said Ivy, walking over to it. "We could make this into something really cool, I bet." Levi left behind the bag of summer beach toys and walked over to join Ivy. "Wow, it's like triple my size," said Levi, measuring himself against the giant cardboard box. "I bet it would make a pretty cool spaceship." But as he was saying that, Ivy was saying how she thought the refrigerator box had potential to be an amazing castle. "So it looks like we have two totally different ideas of what to do here," said Levi, sounding disappointed. "Not necessarily," answered Ivy. "We may not want to change this giant box into the same thing, but we both want to use our imaginations to make it into something amazing." Levi just gave her a knowing smile and they set off to work. "Ready for our next adventure?" asked Ivy. "Totally ready," smiled Levi. The two of them gathered together all the supplies they would need: markers, paint, stickers, sheets, scissors. They worked on their great creation for the rest of the afternoon and for much of the next morning. Their parents were excited that they were embracing their time without screens, but still a little bit sad regarding what had led to it. After lunch on the second day of transforming the refrigerator box, Levi and Ivy added a few final touches and called their amazing creation done. "I present to you," said Levi in an announcer voice, "the Lewis family spaceship." And I present to you, Ivy announced quickly after, the Lewis family castle. And as they stepped back and looked at what they had created together, they could not have been prouder. They worked for almost 2 days, free from distractions of screens, and created something amazing. Not just a spaceship and not just a castle, but rather the Lewis family spaceship-castle. The one common component was both the spaceship and the castle were created with exploration, discovery, and fun in mind, and it didn't take long for Levi and Ivy to test that out. Royal Mission Control! This is Captain Levi. Are we ready to launch? Asked Levi while sitting on an overturned bucket inside the spaceship portion of their creation. Why, yes, sir, you are, answered Ivy with a royal flare from the castle tower. Set to launch thrusters in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Shouted Levi as he shook the cardboard spaceship castle to make it seem like it was taking off. A wonderful show of innovation and creativity, my good sir, said Ivy as she sipped a pretend cup of tea and admired the vast landscape of stars that she imagined just outside the spaceship castle window. Levi and Ivy played in the Lewis family spaceship castle for hours that day, and when they weren't playing in their cool creation, they were talking about it, suggesting modifications that they could do to make it better or discussing their next royal space adventure. They were so proud of what they had created that they talked about it with their mom and dad and their friends. Wow, that sounds really cool, said one of Levi's friends. Yeah, do you think the Lewis family spaceship castle has room for a few more adventurers? Asked one of Ivy's friends. Absolutely, replied Levi and Ivy. The more the merrier. And before they knew it, all their friends were headed over to play. For the rest of the week, their friends dragged cardboard boxes of all shapes and sizes over to their house where they created an entire royal space village in their backyard. They shared unforgettable adventures together and never thought about the TV shows they were missing or the iPad games they could be playing. As the week went on, Levi and Ivy's parents watched them and smiled, so happy they were now taking the bad situation of fibbing about breaking the vase and using it to discover a whole new level of imaginative play that they really enjoyed. This new attitude of not watching screens spilled over to Levi and Ivy's parents as well as the week went on. On the final night of no screens, the Lewis family was outside looking at the stars when Ivy said, Mom and Dad, Levi and I want to apologize again for breaking your vase and not telling you the truth at first. We will never lie to you again. We also wanted to thank you for this past week. Yeah, Levi chimed in, pointing to their royal space village. Not watching screens let us create all of this, and it's been a really fun week. And there's one other thing that we created, said Ivy, grabbing a piece of paper from inside the house. It was a drawing of their mom's vase that she and Levi had worked on together. I love it, said Levi and Ivy's mom. Thank you. Then as they sat under the stars, Levi and Ivy went on to tell their parents about all the great adventures they had together with their friends that week, meeting space pirates, making friends with dragons, and hosting enchanted royal space banquets with alien kings and queens. I'm so happy to hear that you learned your lesson about lying and will never do it again, began their mom. But I'm even happier that you found your creative spark. You can make amazing things together when you just take the time to use your imagination. You're right, Mom. The adventures we had this week were greater than any TV show we could have watched or video game we could have played. Are you excited to get your screenbacks tomorrow? Asked Levi and Ivy's dad. Maybe, but we have a few important things to do on Jupiter first before we can go do anything else, said Levi with a laugh. That's right. We're hosting a royal space party at the castle, and you two are invited if you can make it, added Ivy. We'd love to show you all around the royal space village. That sounds great to me, smiled their mom. Count us in, added their dad. Eventually, Levi and Ivy's mom glued her broken vase back together and once again displayed it in the living room, along with the picture Levi and Ivy had drawn for her. The vase acted as a constant reminder to always tell the truth, to create marvelous things, and that the average, like an old refrigerator box, can become extraordinary with just a little imagination. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.